Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and we are discussing the uh, five chapters of Ras Panchadhyay. And so far we have discussed how Krishna, when he played his flute, all the gopis they came giving up all their relationships, whatever they were doing, they gave up, they came running. But Krishna, he was just indifferent to them and he asked, why have you come? Please go back. Then gopis they requested, and then Krishna becomes very happy and pleased with them and starts dancing and enjoying with them, but they become proud. The gopis become proud. Again, Krishna disappears. Then a whole chapter describes the gopis, how they were in separation. They were searching Krishna everywhere, asking all the plants, trees, animals. They started imitating the activities of Krishna. Then they came back to the bank of Yamuna and they sang the beautiful song, the Gopi Geet. So that's what we discussed so far. So now after this, when gopis they became so very distressed, distraught because Krishna didn't come. So Shukdev Goswami says that after they had completed their song, they were very much in separation from Krishna. They started crying very loudly, began to weep. And when they started crying and they were in separation, then Krishna appeared in front of them. तासामाविर्भूषौरी स्मयमानमखाम्बुज पीताम्बरधरस्रग्वी साक्षान्मन्मथ मन्मथ. So Tasam Avirbhut Shauri Avirbhu. Krishna appeared with a smiling face. Smayamana Mukhambuja. So smile of Krishna is so very enchanting. It can attract every living entity. And when Krishna he appeared with a smiling face, wearing a yellow garment, Pitambara Dara, Sragvi wearing a garland of forest flowers, and he was looking so beautiful. He was attracting even the mind of the Cupid. Sakshat Manmatha Manmatha. Manmatha means one who can agitate and disturb the mind. That is Cupid. And Krishna is Manmatha Manmatha. Krishna can even attract Madan Mohan. He can attract even Madan. That's why he's called as Madan Mohan. So that is how when Krishna appeared, the gopis, as soon as they saw Krishna appeared in front of them, they stood all at once, became so very happy, their eyes became wide and they started, you know, looking, gazing at Krishna. It was as if life entered their bodies again. So, when Krishna appeared, he appeared at a distance. So the gopis, when they saw Krishna at a distance, they became so very happy, and gradually Krishna came close to the gopis. And even when Krishna came close to the gopis, they could not see him properly because they were crying, their eyes were full of tears. So then after this, when Krishna appeared in front of them, the gopis, they started exchanging loving dealings with Krishna. Somebody, took Krishna's hand in her hand, somebody put her hand on the shoulder, and uh, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the various groups of gopis, and various gopis, they are coming and reciprocating with Krishna in different ways. So Chandravali, who is a subservient, the leader of the subservient group of gopis, and Radharani is more dominating. So first Chandravali, she came and she was very reverentially serving Krishna, and then another gopi came. Chakravarti Thakur says that gopi is a Sakhi of Chandravali. One gopi, she was very angry because Krishna had left her and he had gone, putting all the gopis in the ocean of separation. And that was Srimati Radharani. And then the gopis, when they were beholding the beautiful form of Krishna, some were allowing Krishna to enter their eyes, and they were embracing him within their hearts for a long, long time. Just like the mystic yogis, they see the Paramatma in their hearts, but still they are never satisfied. So the gopis, they were never satisfied, even though they were with Krishna. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of Krishna Katha. One can be satisfied hearing about Krishna, and one can never be satisfied by hearing about Krishna. Ko nama tripyet rasavit kathayam महत्तमैकांत परायणस्य नान्तं गुणानां गुणस्य जग्मो योगेश्वराये भवपाद्म मुख्यः. The great controllers of the universe, they are meditating on Krishna. Who can be satisfied hearing the pastimes of Krishna? Kastripnuyat tirthapadobhitana satreshu vasuribhidyamana yatkarvan nadim purushasya yato bhavapradam geharatim chinati. When we hear about Krishna, that pastimes and the glories of Krishna can cut all our attachments to family life. Who can be satisfied hearing about the pastimes of Krishna? So the gopis, they were not satisfied. Even though they were with Krishna, they were beholding the beautiful form of Krishna, they were not satisfied. And another gopi embraced Krishna in the heart, and then, Vaishnava Toshini, Chakravarti Thakur writes, in the Vaishnava Toshini, different gopis who all are coming, their names are given. So the 8 prominent gopis, so Krishna has 8 prominent gopis, 8 gopis which are mentioned in these section of verses. They all came and they reciprocated with Krishna in different ways. And in the purport, it is described that among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the supreme. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasyam Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopeshu Sevaika Vishnur Atyanta Vallabha. Just like Radharani is very, very dear to Krishna, the Kund of Radharani, that is Radha Kund, is also very dear to Krishna. Sarva Gopishu Sevaika. Among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is foremost. She is the most dear to Krishna. Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Para Devata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. So Srimati Radharani is Krishna Mai Prokta. She is always thinking of Krishna, and she is the source of all the internal potencies, Lakshmi, Sita, and all the other potencies. They are coming from Srimati Radharani. So all the gopis were in bliss when they saw Krishna, and they gave up whatever distress they had because of the separation from Krishna. And then all the gopis, they came and they circled around Krishna. And Krishna, he was shining forth very splendidly, just like the emerald or uh, sapphire in midst of the golden ornaments. Or he was looking like the Supreme Lord who is surrounded by his spiritual potencies. Then Krishna, he took all the gopis to the bank of Yamuna, and they were enjoying. First of all, they were beholding the beauty of the Vrindavan forest, the breeze, the flowers, the trees, the beautiful moon rays were shining. So all these are described. And then after this, gopis, they arranged a seat. They took their shawls, they put it on uh, the you know earth, and they told Krishna, Krishna, please come and sit. Interestingly, millions of gopis are there. They all took their shawls and they put it on the ground. How did Krishna manage to sit on all the seats? Because Krishna expanded himself. So Krishna, he expanded himself. No gopi could see that, oh, Krishna is there on the other gopis shawl also. Everybody was thinking, oh, Krishna is there only with me. And therefore in this way Krishna enjoyed with the gopis in so many different ways. But the gopis were still angry. They still did not give up thinking why Krishna left them. They were still disturbed. So therefore they thought, why to speculate, why to blame Krishna unnecessarily? Better ask them. Better ask Krishna. So the gopis, they came forward and they started asking Krishna. Bhajanto anubhajantyek ek viparyayam no bhayam cha bhajantyek eta no bruhi sadhu. So the gopis, they ask, they say, some people, they reciprocate the affection of only those who love them. There are first type of people. They will be affectionate to those who love them. Others, they are affectionate to even those who are indifferent to them. And yet, there are others who will not show affection towards anyone. Oh Krishna, please properly explain why this happens. Why different people, they behave in different ways. So indirectly, this looks apparently polite question, but the gopis, they are very very intelligent. They know the art of asking questions also, so that the person does not feel offended. So the gopis, they wanted to expose Krishna's failure. Oh, you did not reciprocate with us properly, but they are doing it in such a polite way. They are not criticizing Krishna directly. So basically, they are asking, oh Krishna, through all these questions, they are asking, oh Krishna, do you have affection for us? Or are you indifferent to us? Or are you hostile towards us? These are the three things which gopis ask. Are you having affection to us? Are you indifferent to us? Or are you hostile to us? And then they ask, is your love conditional or unconditional? Do you love us because of some conditions, or unconditionally you are, you know, loving us? Then they say it cannot be unconditional, because the person with conditional love has attraction for those who help him fulfill his desires, and therefore he does not give them misery. If somebody has conditional love and the other person is providing the facilities, fulfilling the conditions, then this person will not give misery. But you gave us such misery. You threw us in the fire of separation. So your love cannot be conditional. There must be some other reason. So please tell us. And then they say, you are not indifferent also. You are sometimes making us feel good, sometimes making us happy, sometimes making us sad. You are not indifferent. So please tell us the actual reason. Because it is improper to accuse you directly. So better clarify our doubt. So therefore we are putting this question in the form of riddles. Please clarify. So Krishna, he answers the query of the gopis. So Krishna says, "O gopis, so-called friends who have affection only for their benefits, they show affection to others only for their benefit, they are selfish. Actually, they have no true friendship. They are just, showing affection because they want something in return." Then he answers the second question. He says, some people are genuinely merciful. They are devoted to everyone, they serve everyone, even though others are indifferent towards them. Still they serve others. They are true well-wishers. And then he says, there are people who are either spiritually satisfied or materially fulfilled, or they are ungrateful, or envious. These three types of people, Krishna says: those who are spiritually satisfied, those who are Atma Ram, they have no desire for external enjoyment, so they don't reciprocate. Those who are materially satisfied, they already have enough in their life, they don't reciprocate. And other third type of people, they are ungrateful, they are envious, they are akritagya. They do not show any reciprocation. So then Krishna says, I am none of them. He says, Naham tu sakhyo bhajatopi jantum bhajamyamishan anuvritti vrittaye yatha dhano labdha dhane vinashte tachintayanyan nibhrato naveda. He says, but what is the reason I do not reciprocate with my devotees properly? You are blaming that I did not reciprocate with you properly. You want to hear my defect from my mouth. So I'll tell you the reason why I don't reciprocate with my devotees. Very, very interesting thing Krishna is speaking. Why Krishna does not reciprocate with us, with his devotees, the way we want. We may also like to develop such devotional feelings. We also want to experience the taste and ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. What all great devotees experience, we as sadhakas, we also want to experience that. Even though we try our best, even though we struggle to the best of our capacity, still Krishna does not give us the taste and the joy and the bliss and the reciprocation which we expect. Why? So Krishna is answering in this verse. He says, "O gopis, the reason I don't reciprocate with my devotees' affection even after their worship is Amisham Anuvritti Vrittaye." This is the answer. Amisham Anuvritti Vrittaye. Because I want to intensify their loving devotion. That is the only reason. I want to intensify the loving devotion of my devotees. And then he gives an example. Just like a person who is a poor man and then he gets a huge wealth, but somehow he loses it again. You know what will be the position and condition of that person? He will become so anxious, so desperate to get that again. Similarly, when a person comes to Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives some taste to the devotees. and the devotees develop a attraction for that process. But in due course of time, even after practicing a lot, that taste, does not come. So devotees, they wonder, अरे पहले जब मैं आया था, the initial days of Krishna consciousness were so good. Everything was blissful, everything was so very great. But now I am not feeling that satisfaction, that joy, that bliss. What happened? Some problem somewhere, you know. So basically, Krishna, he is arranging things in such a way so that we become more eager to develop that taste. We should want it. That is the laulya we should have. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritir na labhyate. So if you want to get the taste of Krishna consciousness, then we should have the eagerness to get it. One more thing it said, in the initial days when we come to Krishna consciousness, we don't offend anybody because we think everybody is great. I am the junior most. So naturally we are humble and naturally we hear and follow whatever the seniors say. As we spend our time in Krishna consciousness, you know, we start getting knowledge, getting some recognition, responsibilities, and as a result we start thinking, I am also something here. So naturally we may criticize or make some comments, or may feel that, oh, this person is not so great, I'm doing better. We may not say it out of etiquette, but we may feel it. So the all these things add to our offenses, and that's why when the offenses come into picture, Krishna withdraws the taste. And even if we are not making offenses, Krishna does not give the taste so easily because he wants his devotees to hanker for it. Because in that separation, in that eagerness, hankering, the devotee becomes purified. So that is how Krishna is saying, I don't give my mercy so easily because I want to increase the eagerness of my devotees. So therefore, Krishna does not respond to our expectations, our prayers so easily. He responds actually. That's why he is not giving us what we want. He is responding to our prayers. That's why he is delaying whatever we are asking, because he wants our desire to become more and more strong. So in the purport, very nicely it is described that Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Krishna is actually truly reciprocating. Because all sincere devotees, they always pray, oh Krishna, please help me to love you properly. And Krishna is helping us to love him properly by not giving himself completely so easily. So Krishna intensifies our love for him by apparently separating himself. Apparently, devotee feels that, oh, I have no taste. Still, I have all those anarthas. Still, my mind is full of all the contaminations. Still, I am sleeping in chanting. I am sleeping in Bhagavatam. No taste for service. That intense eagerness and desire makes a devotee more committed, more sincere, more eager. So basically, Krishna's apparent neglect is actually his thoughtful reciprocation so that our desires are purified. Then the gopis may say, actually, you respond to the devotees who have not achieved prema, right? You are talking about sadhakas. Sadhakas, because they have not pure devotion, you are acting to increase their eagerness. But we are not ordinary jivas. We are your pure devotees. So fearing such response from the gopis, Krishna, he speaks the next statement is Evam matha Madartho chitaloka veda swanam hivo mayi anuvrittaye balah maya paroksham bhajata tirohitam masuhitam marhata tat pritah priyam. He says, O gopis, you have given up everything for my sake. Mad artha ujjita. Ujjita means you have given up. You have given up everything for my sake. But I acted in this way to increase your love for me. You are not a sadhaka. Your love is always supreme, but still I wanted to increase that love also. Even though Maya Paroksham, even though I removed myself in front from the vision of all of you, but I never stopped loving you. I was always loving you the way I was loving you earlier. I did not decrease my love for you. Therefore, O gopis, please do not have any bad feelings. Do not think that I am not reciprocating with you. I always love you. How much do you love me? How much do you love us? So Krishna says, Oh gopis, you are dear to me more than my life. Therefore, please forgive my behavior. You know, because Krishna understands that he made a mistake. I made, I have given my statement, ye yatha mam prapadyante. I reciprocate with devotees the way they come to me. But I have failed to fulfill this promise in front of all of you. You have given your everything for me. You have given up your fathers, mothers, brothers, friends, relationships. Everything you have given up and you have come to me. I could not give up my father, my mother, my friends, my brothers to come and love you. So, therefore, I cannot reciprocate in the same way as you are coming to me. So, therefore, O gopis, be satisfied with your love, be satisfied with your service. And then Krishna speaks a famous verse. Naparayeham niravadya samyujam स्वसाधु कृत्यम विबुधायुषापिवः यामा भजन्दुर्जहग्रेह shrinkhala samvrishya तद्वः pratiyatu sadhuna. So Krishna saying, Na parayeham. I am not able to repay you for what you have done for me. You know, whatever you have done is completely free from any deceit, any malice, any ulterior motives. Swasadhu krityam vibudhayushapiva. Are I cannot repay this debt even during the life of Brahma. Even if I repay for one lifetime, vibudhayusha, even if I repay for one lifetime of Brahma, I will not be able to repay what you have done for me. You know, you have given up everything. Ya Ma Bhajan, you have worshipped me, Ma Bhajan. And you have given up all your family responsibilities. Durjar Geha Shrinkhala. The Shrinkhala, the chain of family attachment, which is so very difficult to cut. You have given up, you have cut off those attachments and you have come to me. So please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. You know. So that is what Krishna is telling. You be satisfied with your service. So after glorifying all the gopis in such wonderful ways, the gopis become so very happy and pleased. They were satisfied, and that is the beginning of the last chapter. That is the Rasa dance. So now the gopis are so very satisfied, and they started reciprocating with Krishna in different ways. The gopis started dancing and singing very loudly, and Krishna expanded into many forms between two gopis. Every two gopi Krishna was there. And as Krishna started dancing, all the devatas they came expecting such wonderful unparalleled pastime in the history. They all came with their consorts. Kettle drums were getting sounded. Gandharvas and Apsaras, they were singing and dancing and playing wonderful musical instruments. And all the gopis, as they started dancing, the tumultuous sound of their ankle bells, of their armlets, of their waist belts, they filled the entire sky. And Krishna was there in midst of all these millions of gopis. And then Shukdev Goswami describes in great detail how Krishna was dancing in such wonderful ways, and he was looking like uh, a lightning. He was looking like a cloud, and all the gopis, they were looking like the lightning in that cloud. And different gopis were reciprocating, singing loudly, dancing. Krishna was appreciating by saying, well done, excellent, excellent, what a wonderful dance. In this way, Krishna was also glorifying the gopis. Krishna also responded, he was also singing. And after dancing and singing for a long time, the gopis became tired. They came back and they were resting their heads and arms on Krishna's shoulder. And Krishna reciprocated with the gopis in different ways. And therefore, it is described that Krishna, he performed such unparalleled pastime with all the gopis. So Krishna alone, he is the supreme absolute truth, and the dance in the pastimes which Krishna is doing with the gopis, it is not an ordinary pastime. It is the pastime of absolute truth with the spiritual potencies. Because gopis, they are all spiritual, they are potencies of Krishna. So everything is Krishna only. So nobody can say, oh, why Krishna is dancing with other men's wives. Because Krishna, he is not dancing with other men's wives. He is dancing with his own spiritual potencies. And in fact, people of the world, they are enjoying, they are trying to enjoy the potency of Krishna. So in this way, the wonderful rasa dance was continuing. And when the celestial beings, the wives of the Devatas, they saw this dance, they also got affected by Cupid. They also were so very astonished and thrilled. Supreme Lord, who is self satisfied, Atmaram, he enjoyed with the gopis to increase his happiness. And in this way, Krishna, he reciprocated with the gopis. And then Shukdev Goswami describes that after this whole dance was over, Krishna, the gopis, they sang the glories of Krishna. Sorry, the title is different. So now Krishna, he took all the gopis and they entered Yamuna. And there, in Yamuna, Krishna relaxed with all the gopis, and the gopis were reciprocating and playing with Krishna, splashing water on him. After describing all this, after this pastimes of Yamuna were over, then Krishna came out and they were moving in Vrindavan forest along with the gopis. Krishna was moving, strolling around. And then Shukdev Goswami says, in all these wonderful pastimes, Krishna was not affected by mundane lust because Krishna is just reciprocating with the gopis. There is no tinge of material lust in all these pastimes because Krishna is completely spiritual. Material lust cannot touch him. As it is described in the first canto also, when Krishna entered the palace in Dwarka, all the wives of Krishna, they wanted to attract him, attract their attention, attract his attention. But Krishna was not disturbed by their glances and by their smiles. Uddama bhava pishunam lavalguhasa vridavalokanihato madanopi asam sammuhya chapamajaha pramadottamasta yasya indriyai vimathitum kuhakairna sheku. Uddama bhava, all the wives of Krishna, they were displaying such wonderful glances and gestures and shyness. Valguhasa, smiling in very beautiful ways. That Cupid could also become disturbed. But Yasyaindriye vimathitum kuhakair na sheku. Krishna was not disturbed, his senses were not bewildered. So after Shukdev Goswami completes this discussion of the pastime of Rasa dance, Parikshit Maharaj, he observed, because in the assembly there were some karmis also, jnanis also, they could not accept this. They developed various desires hearing all these pastimes. They doubted, they were doubting this pastime. So Parikshit Maharaj, he had personally no doubt, he understood what is happening, but for the welfare of all the people and for the welfare of entire humanity for all time to come, Parikshit Maharaj, he asked question. He said, संस्थापनाय धर्मस्य प्रशमाय तरस्य अवतीर्णोस्य अवतीर्णो हि भगवान अंशेन जगदीश्वरः. So he says, Hare Krishna, he appeared in this world for dharma samsthapana. He appeared to establish the principles of religion. Prasharma itarasya, and to annihilate the demoniac people. Avatirno, he appeared in this world along with his potencies, along with his amshas. Sakatham dharma setunam vakta karta abhirakshita pratipamacharat brahman paradara abhimarshanam. Are that Supreme Lord who who is vakta, karta and abhirakshita also, who is the original speaker, who is the follower and who is the guardian of religious principles. How? Katham. How could that Supreme Lord, who is the speaker, follower, and the guardian of dharmic principles, how can he act in such a wrong way? How could he touch the wives of others? Krishna is Aptakam, Lord is Aptakam. Aptakamo Yadupati Kritvan Vai Jugupsitam Kim Abhipraya Etanna Samshayam Chandi Suvrata. He says, Are Krishna is Aptakam. He is self satisfied. He does not need anything external for his satisfaction. He is Yadupati. Are Yadus, they are such glorious in their character. They never disobey the principles of dharma. So Yadus are so great, then how can Yadupati do something irreligious? How can he do something jugupsitam, condemned? How he behaved so contemptibly? It is so very difficult to understand. Kim abhipraya? What was in his mind when he did this pastime? This is our doubt. O Suvrata. Suvrata means O personality, great personality who is upholder of great vow of celibacy. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, you are Suvrata, you are having such a good conduct. You are following the principles of celibacy, you are acting according to dharma. Please explain, otherwise your good conduct will be destroyed and the good conduct of your followers will be destroyed. So please tell us the reason. And because I see that you are having such a wonderful character, you are a celibate, you are also getting involved in all these pastimes in great detail. This is also creating a doubt. Please dispel this doubt of mine. So, Shukdev Goswami, when he heard all these questions, he started replying. Dharma vyatikramo drishta ishwaranam cha sahasam tejiyasam na doshaya vahane sarva bhujo yatha. So very beautifully, Shukdev Goswami is answering. Dharma vyatikaro drishta. Apparent transgression apparent audacious transgression by the great spiritually potent persons. Those who are very, very powerful spiritually, apparently they may be seen as transgressing the laws of dharma. They are Ishwaranam, they are powerful controllers, they are spiritually potent. Tejiyasam na doshaye. So you should understand, apparently apparent transgressions, they don't harm their status. Tejiyasam, Tejiyasam na doshaye. If spiritually potent and powerful personalities, the controllers, they do something apparent, audacious activities, those activities do not harm their position. Just like the fire can consume anything. Fire does not get contaminated. Prabhupada gives the example that fire can, evaporate urine also, water from the urine also, and stool also. The sun evaporates water from the urine and the stool, but sun does not become contaminated. Similarly, Krishna is Shuddham and Apapavidham. He cannot be touched by anything of this world. Therefore, नैतत्समाचरे जातु मनसापि हि अनीश्वरः विनश्यत्याचरन्मौढ्यात् यथा रुद्रोऽब्धिजं विषम्. Therefore, O Parikshit, when great controllers, they do something apparently audacious activities, those who are insignificant jivas, those who are not great controllers, na etat samachare, उनको उनका आचरण नहीं करना चाहिए. They should not imitate the great controllers. Even in the mind, they should not imitate the great controllers. You know what will happen to them? Vinashyati, they will get destroyed. These foolish peoples, if they want to imitate the great controllers, they will be destroyed. Just like one cannot imitate Lord Shiva drinking poison. Lord Shiva, when he drank poison, he was not affected, and that poison became the ornament. That's why he is called as Neelkant. If any ordinary person tries to drink poison, he'll be destroyed. So therefore, uh, Shukdev Goswami is saying, people, if they object, if devatas, they are committing adharmic activities, so the principle is what? Yad yad acharati shrishta tatta devetaro jana. Whatever great people do, common people follow. So if devatas are doing adharmic activities, so if a lowly jiva, insignificant jiva also thinks, I will do also that same, you know what will happen? He will be destroyed. He should not even think, because that is like committing suicide. So Shukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj will say, okay, in what circumstance, we should apply this rule, whatever great people do, common people follow. There should be some rule, right? When we should follow this, when we should not follow this. Because the principle is there, we have heard many times. Whatever great people do, common people has to follow. So in what circumstance we should follow? So then Shukdev Goswami says another wonderful verse. Ishwaranam vacha satyam tathaiva charitam kvachit tesham yatsva vacho yuktam buddhimam tatsamacharet. He says, Ishwaranam vachah satyam. The statements of Lord's empowered servants are always true. Therefore, tathaiva anucharitam. Please follow the instructions of the servants or the devotees of the Lord. Don't imitate the activities of the Lord. Follow the instructions of the devotees. Tesham yat swavacho yuktam. And use your intelligence, buddhimams, use your intelligence to follow the instructions of the devotees of Krishna. Chakravarti Thakur gives some more clarification. He says one should perform only those acts which do not contradict the orders which are given by the devatas. You know, some great acharyas and the devatas, they have given some orders and instructions. We should perform only those activities, not others. Even though if somebody is giving some instruction, even a great personality is giving some instruction, that instruction should also be approved by the scriptures. So basically the shastras should always be the, you know, guiding lines. Shastras are always the north pole where we have to look for. If the words and the instructions of the great people and devatas are in line with the scriptures, then we should follow it, otherwise not. And Chakravarti Thakur gives an example. In the first canto, their story comes when Ashwathama, he killed the 5 sons of Draupadi and Arjuna arrested him. Krishna ordered, Supreme Lord is personally telling, kill Ashwathama. Why? Because he has killed your children. Please kill him. But Arjuna did not follow that instruction. Why? Because Ashwathama is a Brahmana. Because Krishna has also given an instruction that one should not kill a Brahmana even though he is sinful. And he has also given an instruction that a person should kill others, Kshatriyas, if he has some weapons in his hand. If other person is ready to kill you, then you can kill. Otherwise, you cannot. These two, all these instructions are given by Krishna in the scriptures. So Ashwathama was a Brahmana and he had no weapons in his hand. So therefore Arjuna did not kill him. So this is a wonderful example where Lord is himself giving an instruction, oh Arjuna, kill Ashwathama. Arjuna did not follow because it was not in line with the scriptures. So therefore, even though great personalities and Supreme Lord is giving some instruction in some circumstance, we should know, okay, what is the context, you know, because Krishna was testing the dharmic knowledge of Arjun. So Krishna is a very personal God. He likes to test his devotees. Okay, I am telling, what is he going to do? So therefore, Chakravarti Thakur writes, it was simply a test of the understanding of Arjuna's religious principles. So therefore, Shukdev Goswami says, oh my dear Prabhu, you know, when these great personalities, those who are devotees of the Lord, when they act piously, without any ego, without any selfish motives, even if they do some apparently contradictory acts, still they will not be implicated in the cycle of karma. So if the devotees and the great personalities are not get implicated in the cycle of karma, and then how can Lord get implicated? So therefore, you should understand the material activities never entangles a devotee. If devotee is not entangled, then how can Lord become entangled in these activities? He is a super soul residing in everyone's heart. You know, because people, they say, Hare Krishna was dancing with other men's wives in a secret place. Hare Krishna is super soul in everyone's heart. He is always there secretly in the heart of the gopis. So nobody can say Krishna was dancing with other men's wives in secret. He is always there with them in secret. Most secret place is the heart. And Krishna is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So what is the point in telling, oh, Krishna was dancing with other men's wife? There is no fault. He's always there. And then Shukdev Goswami says another wonderful verse. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamastitah bhajate tadrishi kirida ya shrutva tatparo bhavet. Anugrahaya. Then why Lord is performing all these pastimes? anugrahaya bhaktanam. To show mercy to his devotees, he takes the form of a human, manusham dehamastitah, bhajate. When Supreme Lord engages in such pastimes, he performs this all these pastimes to attract the fallen conditioned souls. Yaha Shrutva Tatparo Bhavet, and who hears these pastimes in right consciousness becomes purified, becomes spiritually uplifted. That is a goal, because Parikshit Maharaj asked, what is the goal of such pastimes? Why Lord is performing such pastimes? It is to show mercy to all the living entities. So, Parikshit Maharaj may say, okay, when Krishna enjoyed with gopis on all the nights, all the nights of the year, Shukdev Goswami says in one of the verses, all the nights of that year, Krishna was enjoying with the gopis. Parikshit Maharaj will say, the husbands never complained about Krishna. They never became angry about Krishna with Krishna. Their wives were not present every night. You know, Shukdev Goswami says, the cowherd men, they were completely bewildered by Krishna's illusory potency. The Yog Maya, what she did? Whenever the gopis would leave every night, Yog Maya would create another gopi, same exact duplicate, and that gopi would stay in the house, and the original gopi would go. So the husbands, they would always think, okay, our wives is there with us only. So they never complained. They were bewildered, and that's why they had no jealous or ill feelings towards Krishna. And Shukdev Goswami says, these husbands, they never even enjoyed household life with these imitation, these duplicate gopis, because Yogamaya, she did not allow even those feelings to come in their minds. So therefore, they were always, staying separately even in their homes. And in this way, Shukdev Goswami says, after an entire night of Brahma had passed, Krishna, he told the gopis, you please now go back. So the Ras Leela went on for one entire night of Brahma. Somebody may say, how is this possible? One night of Brahma, how is this possible? Chakravarti Thakur says, you know, one night means 1000 yuga cycles. So just like Krishna showed the entire Brahmand in his small mouth, similarly, in Damodar Leela, his waist did not grow, and Yashodama used the entire village's ropes. Similarly, the whole 1000 yuga cycle, they got fit into the 4 praharas of the night, 4 praharas of the human calculation night. So that is how Krishna performed such wonderful pastimes with all the gopis. And then in the last verse of this Ras Panchadhyay, Shukdev Goswami is giving the Phala Shruti. Vikriditam brajavadhubhiridam cha Vishno Shraddhanvito Shrunuyad Athavarnayedyah Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Hridrogamashupahinoti Achirena Dhiraha. Vikriditam Brajabadhu, the Lord's wonderful playful affairs with the Brajabadhus, the young gopis, Idam cha Vishnu, Shraddhanvito, if somebody hears with faith and describes with faith, Shrunuyad, Athavarnayed, if somebody hears and describes with faith, what happens? Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam, he will attain Lord's pure devotional service. Rid Rogam Ashu, Rid Rog, the disease of the heart, the lust which is there in the heart, will go away very quickly. So that is the Falashruti of the Rasa Leela. So in this little presentation, we'll see the various reasons why Krishna performed all these wonderful pastimes of Rasa Leela, because many times people they have this conception why Krishna is performing this Ras Leela. Is this Ras Leela or Rash Leela? So different people they have different responses towards this Ras Leela. Those who are staunch Vaishnavas, they completely neglect these pastimes. They think, oh, these pastimes they did not happen only. We will just worship Bal Gopal. We don't have to do anything with the Krishna who is playing all this Rasa Leela. And there are some moralists who speculate about the whole thing. One of the personalities, great personalities, he said, if Ras Leela is true, then Bhagavad Gita cannot be true. You know, Other people say, the person who performed Ras Leela was different than the person who spoke Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna is talking high standards, high moral values in Bhagavad Gita, and how can he perform such immoral activities? So, therefore, we'll see 11 reasons to prove the transcendence of Ras Leela. So, first reason is, generally when we see small children dancing and playing together, holding hands, we don't complain. We don't, have any ill feelings about that. Little children, they don't get attracted to opposite gender. When Krishna performed this Ras Leela, he was just 8 years old. So he cannot have any ill feeling, any lust, even speaking from the material platform. Small children, 8 years old, they don't have any lusty feelings. Second reason is, in this world, whenever we need something, we get it from outside. When we are hungry, we get food, thirsty, we get water. Even if a person wants to get child, he gets married. If you want some entertainment, we go to the movie theater or some auditorium to see the sports match. But Krishna does not need anything from outside because he is apt kam. He is self-satisfied. He does not need even Lakshmi ji to produce children. Brahma, he came out of the navel of Lord Garbhodakshay Vishnu. The story comes when Indra, he sent Apsaras and Cupid to disturb the austerities of Naranarayan Rishi. Naranarayan Rishi created Urvashi. Narayan Rishi created Urvashi from his thighs. And Urvashi is the best of the Apsaras. And he told, oh Cupid, oh Devatas, why have you come? Why are you trying to disturb? We don't want the heaven. Just go back and take this Urvashi also. You know. So Lord does not need anything. He is self-satisfied. He does not need others' property. In fact, everything is his property only. So therefore, when people say, oh, Krishna needed something for his satisfaction, that's why he arranged. No, he is self-satisfied. Third reason is Krishna is called Yadupati, as we discussed some time back. And the Yadus, they have such a wonderful track record. None of the Yadus have any affairs or any bad track record. See the track record of Pandavas. Arjuna, when he went to heavens, he was just looking at Urvashi because he was thinking, oh, she's my great great grandmother. And Indra thought that, oh, I think Arjuna is interested in Urvashi. He sent Urvashi to enjoy with Arjuna. Arjuna said, oh, Mataji, I was not looking at you with this thought, this vision. Urvashi said, Arey, these are all earthly rules. Idhar sab chalta hai. This is heaven. We can enjoy. He said, no, 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 nothing doing. Urvashi is not an ordinary woman of this world. The most beautiful women of this world is nothing in comparison with Urvashi. Urvashi is the best of all the Apsaras. If that is the character of the followers of Krishna, then how can Krishna have a bad character? That's the third reason. Then, fourth reason is we trust somebody when they have a nice character, when they have integrity, when they are selfless, just like Mother Teresa. Nobody can blame the character of Mother Teresa. So we have to understand who spoke about Ras Leela. Shukdev Goswami, he spoke about Ras Leela. What is his character? What is his integrity? He was there in the womb of his mother for 12 years. He was a completely liberated soul, nothing to do with the material world. And he was not coming out only. So Vyasdev asked, Arey Baba, why are you not coming out? Please come out. Why are you giving pain to your mother? Shukdev Goswami said, look, if I'll come out, I'll get entangled in Maya. I'm fearful. Okay, what should I do? You go and call the Mayadhish. Who is Mayadhish? Krishna. If he gives his assurance, then I'll come out. So as they went all the way and brought Krishna, and Krishna gave assurance, no problem, don't worry, my Maya will not touch you. Then he came out. Still he was not, pakka. He said, no risks. He straight went out. Naked, 16 years old boy. The ladies, they were taking bath naked. When they saw a 16 years old boy, young man, they didn't get they didn't get disturbed. They didn't put on their clothes. They continued bathing. Vyasdev came and they started putting on their clothes. Vyasdev was the age of their grandfather. So he asked, why you are behaving like this in front of me? I am your grandfather, like your grandfather, and my son came, he is of your age, still you are unconcerned. The ladies, they said, look, you are a householder. You have to make distinctions between man and women. Although you are a liberated soul, you are incarnation of God, but you are a householder, you have to make distinctions. But your son, he is a liberated soul and he is beyond this varnashrams. And we can see looking in the eyes of your son. Such is the caliber of Shukdev Goswami. And if he is speaking about Ras Leela, affair between a boy and girl, that cannot be anything mundane of this world. Okay, the speaker is great. Who is the audience? Are Parikshit Maharaj, who saw Krishna in the womb. When he took birth, the Brahmanas, they glorified him. You'll be Brahminical. You'll be the maintainer of Brahminical principles. You'll be like Lord Ram. You'll be like Yudhishthir Maharaj in maintaining the principles of Dharma. You will maintain the peace of the world. So such is the caliber of Parikshit Maharaj. So the birth was glorious, activities were glorious. He subdued Kali. Kali Yuga was not allowed to grow till the time Parikshit was there. And then his death was also glorious. He gave up everything and went and sat on the bank of rivers, Ganga. आत्मजाया सुता आगार पशु द्रविण बंधुषु राज्य चाविकले नित्यम विरुणाम ममताम जहो. Give up everything. So birth is glorious, activities are wonderful, and death is unparalleled. Unparalleled renunciation. Saw Krishna in the womb of mother, defeated Kali, and in the end renounced everything. Why at the end of death, somebody will hear all these lusty pastimes, lusty things which are happening between a boy and a girl few days before death. It cannot be anything ordinary. Who else is hearing the pastimes of Ras Leela? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatest of the sannyasis. He also relished the pastimes of the Krishna and gopis. He worshipped them. He was such a strict sannyasi, he did not even allow any women, would not allow any women to come near. He was hearing and relishing these pastimes. So the pastimes cannot be ordinary, mundane. 6 Goswamis, they left everything. They went into Brindavan, giving up everything. Why would they engage in hearing about all these lusty affairs? It cannot be anything mundane. That was fourth reason. Fifth reason is, when we use a mop to clean the spillage, we can clean the spillage only when the mop is clean, not dirty. So if the mop is dirty, the floor will not become cleansed. The great sages, they meditate on Krishna to become purified of their lusty desires. So if the great sages are taking shelter of Krishna, Krishna must be pure. How can Krishna be contaminated with lusty desires and remove the lusty desires of others' hearts? You know, and we know the story of how Mrigari got transformed by just hearing the pastimes and chanting the names of Krishna. So if names of Krishna are purifying, meditation on Krishna is purifying, how can Krishna be contaminated? You know. But somebody may ask, Array, the floor becomes cleansed, it's okay by using a mop. But after the floor is cleansed, the mop becomes dirty, right? Does this mean that if Krishna purifies somebody and cleanses somebody, Krishna becomes dirty and contaminated? You know, does Krishna become contaminated by uh, purifying the hearts of living entities? Because many times, people they say, oh, if you go and give Bhagavad Gita to them, no, 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 today I've eaten non-veg. Bhagavad Gita apavitra ho jayegi. They say like that. But we have to understand, Krishna is like the sun. Sun can evaporate water from the filthy place also and the ocean also. Sun never becomes contaminated. Krishna is like the sun. He is much, much more. He's Supreme Lord. He's the source of sun. He never becomes contaminated. When we chant the names of Krishna, we become purified, and Krishna does not get contaminated. He is apapavidham. He is shuddham. That is fifth reason. Now, sixth reason, why Krishna performed all these pastimes? Because there are two perverted mindsets of people of this age. People think I am God, or God is an ordinary person. You know, people say, "Hey, Krishna also eats. I also eat. Krishna sleeps. I also sleep. Krishna has a family. I also have a family. Krishna is God. I am also God. What is the difference?" So all these activities are similar, right? So if Krishna is God, then I am also God. Therefore, Krishna sometimes breaks the logic, breaks the ordinary laws of the world to prove his position as God. Krishna says, you cannot break the rules. I can break the rules, I will remain unaffected. You cannot do it. As Shukdev Goswami says, Tejiyasam na doshai. The supreme powerful beings, the controllers can do, you cannot do. If somebody starts having affairs with other men's wives, he will be criticized. He'll be questioned by his wife, he'll be questioned by the society, and he will be implicated legally. None of the wives of Krishna complained later, Array, you are having so many girlfriends. None of the Brajvasis, they complained about Krishna, as we heard. So therefore, when Krishna does something, he does to prove his position as God. People say, Array, Ram ate meat. Array, Ram can eat the entire universe and digest also. Lord Krishna ate fire. Can we do it? When we sleep, what comes out is sweat and snoring sound, which only creates disturbance. When Krishna sleeps, he creates universes. Creation happens, no destruction. Others sleep, get disturbed when we sleep. When Krishna sleeps, creation happens. So Krishna proves his position as God. Secondly, He performs all these pastimes to protect and to please his devotees. Lord Ram, he broke the laws of gravity to prove the supremacy that I can do something which nobody can do. Krishna broke his vow to protect his devotee Arjun and to protect the vows of Bhishma. Lord can do anything to please his devotees. There is a story which comes, one of the acharyas says, Lord Ram, when Ravan, once he was having discussion with Mandodari. Mandodari challenged Ravan. Are you cannot make stones float. Lord Ram can do it. He did it. Ravan said, I can also do it. Mandodari said, I don't believe this. So Ravan said, okay. Next day morning they came and Ravan, he actually took one stone, chanted some mantra, and then threw in the water. The stone started floating. Mandodari got amazed. She asked, how did you do that? Ravan didn't tell. After a few days, she again asked, please tell me the secret. I'm your wife. Ravan said, okay. While putting the stone in the water, I told, तुझे राम की कसम है तेरा नहीं तो. you know so basically, Lord, whenever he does some pastimes, he does it to protect his devotees, to please his devotees. Another example is given that when there is a red signal and a car is passing by, a car has to stop. But the driver cannot look above and say, I am stopping at the red signal. Aeroplane is going. Aeroplane should also stop. So the rules for the airplane are different from the rules of the road traffic. So you cannot compare these two. So these are the various reasons. So seventh reason, Krishna, why he performed this Rasa Leela. Because Krishna wanted to fulfill the desires of his devotees. When Krishna came as Lord Ram, there were various sages in the Dandakaranya forest, and they wanted to have conjugal pastimes with Lord Ram. Lord Ram said, look, there are two problems. I have taken a vow of Ekpatni Vrata and you are in male bodies. So now it is not possible. Next incarnation I'll come, I'll fulfill your desires. So these sages, they became Rishi Chari gopis. Then the eighth reason is, Krishna is there in everyone's heart, as we discussed last verse. Krishna is there in everyone's heart. So what is the problem if he comes out and he is performing the Ras Leela with the gopis? He was always there inside of the gopis. Now he has come out and he is performing. He is performing all these pastimes. So there is no problem. That's the eighth reason. Now the ninth reason. People when they perform, they do all these imitation of Ras Leela. They are dancing with other men, with Krishna's wives. Everything is property of Krishna. And when Krishna performed Ras Leela was performed in spiritual bodies, as we discussed. Yogamaya, she sent only those gopis who were completely spiritual in their consciousness. And the imitation gopis were there in the homes. And basically, people they say, oh, Lord Ram was enjoying with other gopis. Arey, Lord was already married to the gopis. In the Brahma Vimohan Leela, when 1 year Krishna was, all the gopas were stolen by Brahmaji. During that year, Krishna, he expanded into all the gopas also. In that year, Paurnamasi performed this marriage of all the gopas and the gopis. So actually Krishna was married to all these gopis. And Krishna is the creator of all. So he has created all the life. He has created the gopis. He is a real proprietor of everything. So what is the problem when he is enjoying with his own property? 10th reason is, in this world, romance is an integral part of the society. All the movies and the songs and They are filled with all these things. So therefore, Lord also comes and performs these pastimes. Somehow or other, he wants to attract the attention of these materialistic people. That is a substitute of material romance which he is giving. And the last reason is, we should understand, if any of the celebrities of this world, like some cinema star, sports star, models, or singers, if they want to get entrance somewhere to a they want to go to a particular place, then you should understand that place must be the best. Who all wanted to get entrance into Ras Leela? Lakshmi Devi herself. She is performing tapasya in Belwan. She is not getting entrance. Narad Muni, he became Naradiya Gopi. Lord Shiva also came and he also became a Gopi to get entrance into Ras Leela. So all these personalities are great devotees. They are Mahajans. They cannot get attracted to a mundane affair of a boy and a girl. That must be the supreme transcendental pastime. So therefore, when we understand these pastimes, what is the benefit of understanding and hearing these pastimes? As Shukdev Goswami gives in the last verse, the heart will become purified and devotion will develop. Ridrogam ashu apahinoti achirena pumsaha. And therefore, Shukdev Goswami gives three warnings. There are three warnings. One should not imitate the actions of great personalities, no imitation. Hear with faith and hear it from the right source. So these are the 11 reasons. So this is the end of Ras Panchadhyay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much.